Prince of Stable-III. Part 3, the Soga clan and Prince Umayado. The descendants of the gods, including the Nakatomi and Mononobe clans who accompanied Nigihayahi-no-Mikoto and Ninigi-no-Mikoto when they descended from Takamagahara, appear to have already had contact with Judaism, but Ishikawa Maro, the grandson of Takeuchi Sukune, is thought to have converted to Nestorianism, which was brought to Japan by the Hata clan who came to Japan during the reign of Emperor Ojin, and changed his surname to Soga, which symbolizes the resurrection of Jesus. Soga no Iname, the fifth-generation successor to Ishikawa Maro, tried to introduce and promote Buddhism that was fused with Nestorianism, but this led to friction with the Nakatomi and Mononobe clans, who were in charge of religious affairs. Takeuchi Sukune, great-grandson of the 8th Emperor Kogen, served emperors for 5 consecutive generations such as Emperor Keiko, Emperor Simu, Emperor Chuai, Emperor Ojin and Emperor Nintoku as Umi, finance minister with both ritual and military powers. Ishikawa Maro, the grandson of Takeuchi Sukune, was given his surname Soga during the days of Emperor Ieyaku and was called Sagano Ishikawa Shukune. Professor Emeritus of Tohoku University, Mr. Hidemichi Tanaka, Takeuchi Sukune is classified among Shinbetsu. Shinsen Shojiroku, an imperially commissioned Japanese genealogical record compiled in the early Heian period, classified the descendants of the various gods of the Age of the Gods as Shinbetsu, in contrast to Kobetsu, the descendants of the emperor, and Banbetsu, the various clans that migrated from China and Korea. Sukune was used as a title to denote warriors and administrative officials in the early Yamato court around the 3rd to 5th centuries, and seems to have been used mainly by powerful clans in the Kinai region before the 5th century. With the rise of the Soga clan, who were descendants of immigrants, the Mononobe clan, who had been in power since the descent of the heavenly grandson, was wiped out from central politics, and the government system based on the 2 pillars of the Umi and Omuraji collapsed. But the Soga clan's tyranny did not last long, and the authority of Umi was later divided between the left and right ministers. As the status of the Takamagahara clans was threatened by the rise of immigrant clans, Prince Umayado appears to have been expected by both factions to be a savior who would bring about reconciliation within the Yamato court. Triumvirate. The son of Iname, Soga no Umako, who murdered Emperor Sushin, let his niece, Nakatomi no Himemiko, ascend the throne, as Emperor Suiko. However, Emperor Suiko named Prince Umayado as the Prince Regent. Thus, a triumvirate was formed consisting of the minister Soga no Umako, 41 years old, Empress Suiko, 39 years old, and Regent Prince Umayado, 18 years old. Empress Suiko and Soga no Umako handled government affairs at the imperial court in Asuka village, Nara Prefecture, but Prince Shotoku lived in Yikuruga town, Ikoma district, Nara Prefecture and, when necessary, rode his beloved horse Kurokoma a distance of some 20 kilometers to attend court. Prince Shotoku, who undertook the administration of the imperial court as a regent of Emperor Suiko, used Jingzhou Christian Hata Kawakatsu as his aide and built shrines nationwide through Kawakatsu's attainments, aiming for the realization of the trinity of Confucianism, Buddhism and Shintoism. In the 11th year of the reign of Empress Suiko, 603 AD, the prince established the 12-level cap and rank system, and the following year, he established the 17-article constitution. He compiled the national history, and in the 15th year of the reign of Empress Suiko, 607 AD, he sent Ono no Yimoko to Sui to establish diplomatic relations and introduce continental culture. He also wrote the commentary on the three classics, built the Horyuji Temple and Shitennuji Temple, and worked to promote Buddhism. Sincerely reverence the three treasures. The second article of the 17-article Constitution, issued by Prince Shotoku, states, "Sincerely reverence the three treasures." Nihon Shoki explains, the three treasures, viz. Buddha, the law and the priesthood, are the final refuge of the four generated beings, and are the supreme objects of faith in all countries. However, in the Sendai Kuji Hangi, records of old matters from previous ages, it has been recorded as, sincerely reverence the three laws. The three laws, viz. Confucianism, Buddhism and Shintoism, are the final refuge of the four generated beings, and are the supreme objects of faith in all countries. When compiling the Nihon Shoki, the one who was in charge of the articles on Prince Shotoku was a monk called Doji. Professor Emeritus Seiichi Oyama of Chubu University says in his book, The Birth of Prince Shotoku, because Doji hated other religions, especially Confucianism, he appears to have rewritten the three laws into three treasures. Prince Shotoku issued Edict of Godliness in 607. Thus he appears to have basically stood on Shintoism and tried to reconcile Confucianism, Buddhism, and Shinto. Incidentally, regarding Uzumasa in Kyoto where many Hata people lived, the late Professor Yoshiro Saki of Waseda University said, Uzumasa derives from Aramaic, Yeshu Meshiach, meaning, Jesus, Messiah. Hata clan built Koryuji Temple there. However, according to Mr. Kubo, it was not a Buddhist temple at first, but a place of worship for Shinto Christian. There is the statue of Maitreya, of which right hand's shape similar to the symbol of the Trinity in the Eastern Christian Church. According to Japanese historian Mr. Kunio Hirano, the late Professor Emeritus of Tokyo Women's University, the statue of Maitreya of Koryuji Temple, which had been carved from Korean red pine, seems to have come to Japan from the Korean kingdom of Silla. Nihon Shoki records that in 603 a statue was received by Prince Regent Shotoku Taishi, who offered it to the court assembly of nobles. The Hata leader Hata no Kawakatsu accepted the statue and subsequently built a temple to properly house it. This is the official version of the origin of Koryuji. However, Japanese Buddhism of the time of Shotoku Taishi was dominated completely by the Buddhism of the Kingdom of Baekje, Silla's arch-rival on the Korean peninsula. At that time, pro-Baekje faction in Japan, led by the Soga clan and supported by the Aya clan, immigrants from Baekje, planned to intervene on the peninsula on the side of Baekje, in opposition to Silla. Kawakatsu, head of a Silla immigrant group, and Shotoku Taishi may be seen to have taken the lead in opposition to Soga-led plans to intervene in peninsular affairs. Professor Hirano points out that Kawakatsu's acceptance of the Moroku statue may have played a symbolic role in the internal Japanese politics of the time. While Prince Shotoku's great-grandfather Emperor Keitai, who had closely connected with Baekje, destroyed Yiwai, the head of Kitakyushu clans, who had a close relationship with Shilla, Prince Shotoku entrusted the Maitreya Bodhisattva statue given by Shilla to Hata Kawakatsu. This seems to be in line with the precedent that Emperor Kinmei entrusted the Buddha statue given by Baekje to Soga Iname. The death of Prince Shotoku and the conspiracy theory of the Soga clan. In December of the 29th year of the reign of Emperor Suiko 621 AD, Prince Shotoku's birth mother, Empress Anahobe no Hashihito, passed away. The following year, on January 22, the prince fell ill. His wife, Kashiwade no Oiritsume, who had been tending to him, died first, and the prince himself died the following day. Prince Shotoku is said to have died from smallpox, which was prevalent at the time. However, his wife, Kashiwade no Oiritsume, who was nursing him, died first, and Prince Shotoku passed away the next day, which gave rise to whispers of a conspiracy that he may have been poisoned to death. Prince Shotoku was trusted by Empress Suiko, and together with his minister Soga no Umako, he worked to promote Buddhism and also achieved great success in diplomatic relations with Korea and China. However, there is a possibility that differences of opinion arose between Prince Shotoku and Soga no Umako over his religious policy, which respected the three religions of Shinto, Buddhism, and Confucianism, as well as his policy towards the Korean peninsula. Above all, the prince's emperor-centered approach to national affairs is seen as threatening the Soga clan's position as the family of the in-laws of emperor. In addition, Soga no Umako had a history of assassinating Emperor Sushin, which is likely why these conspiracy theories arose. In fact, after the death of Prince Shotoku, Soga no Umako regained real power, and politics shifted from being centered on the emperor to being centered on the Soga clan. The most notable incident occurred in 643 when Soga no Yaruka, the grandson of Soga no Umako, attacked and killed Prince Yamashiro no Oe, the son of Prince Shotoku, along with his entire family. However, the Soga clan understood better than anyone that they could be the in-laws of the emperor because of the unbroken imperial line based on male lineage succession. This tradition, that is, the imperial system of single line from time immemorial, established by Prince Shotoku and the Soga clan, was continued by the Fujiwara clan, who succeeded the Soga clan as the in-laws, and by the Kamakura, Muromachi and Tokugawa shogunates, and the Meiji, Taisho and Showa periods, probably the post-war GHQ. Prince Shotoku's wives. Prince Shotoku had 4 wives, 3 of whom were Uji no Kaidako no Hamemiko, the daughter of Empress Suiko, Tachibana no Oiritsume, the emperor's granddaughter, and Tojiko no Uratsume, the daughter of Soga no Umako, a powerful clansman with whom he governed. The 4th was Kashiwade no Hokikimi no Uratsume, also known as Sarasuma Hime, the daughter of the Kashiwade Uji clan, a clan based in Yikuruga, Nara. It is said that when the prince visited Yikuruga, he fell in love at first sight with a girl picking celery. In his later years, the prince frequently visited Yikuruga, a so-called commuter marriage, and fathered 8 children with the princess alone. Prince Shotoku is buried in the Shinaga Mausoleum in the grounds of Eifukuji Temple in Shinaga-san, Taishi-cho, Minamikawachi-gun, Osaka Prefecture, along with his beloved wife, Kashiwade no Hokikimi no Uratsume, and his birth mother, Empress Anahobe no Hashihito. The eldest son born to Prince Shotoku and Tojiko no Uratsume, Prince Yamashiro no Oe, married Princess Tsukasine, his half-sister born to Kashiwade no Hokikimi no Uratsume, and had 7 children. The family of Yamashiro no Oe, who has strong ties to Prince Shotoku and the Soga clan, were expected to succeed the throne as the Jogukei royal family. However, they came into conflict with Soga no Yuruka, who was trying to support Emperor Jomei's first son, Prince Furuhito no Oe, and the entire family committed suicide, resulting in their demise. Tenjukoku Mandala. When Prince Shotoku died, one of his wives, Tachibana no Oiritsume, said, "He told us, the world is a lie. Only Buddha is the truth." Thus the prince was reborn in the land of Tenju. Thinking that this must be true, she proposed her grandmother, Emperor Suiko, to create a Tenjukoku Mandara Shucho, tapestries with embroideries representing Tenjuku Paradise, depicting Tenjukoku to commemorate the prince and promote Buddhism. Empress Suiko found this suggestion to be an extraordinary one, and immediately ordered Yamato no Ayanomaken, Komano Kasi, and Ayananuka Kori to create the original drawings, and Karabe no Hadenakuma to take overall command of the creation of the Tenjukoku Mandara Shucho. According to historical records, it is believed that when it was first made, it consisted of 2 curtains, each measuring about 2 meters long and 4 meters wide, joined together horizontally. However, only a small part of the whole remains today, and various fragments have been pieced together to create a frame measuring 88.8 centimeters in height and 82.7 centimeters in width. 2 other fragments have also been preserved separately. Although only fragments remain, they are valuable relics that provide insight into the dyeing and weaving crafts, paintings, clothing, and Buddhist beliefs of the Asuka period, and have been designated as national treasures. Encounter with Bodhidharma. According to the Nihon Shoki, on the first day of the 12th month of the 21st year of the reign of Empress Suiko, 613 AD, when the prince was traveling to Mount Katauka, he found a starving man lying on the road. He asked the man his name, but he would not answer. When the prince saw this, he gave him something to drink and food, took off his clothes and covered him, told him to rest in peace. The next day, the prince sent his attendant to see the man, who returned and told him that he had already died. The prince was greatly grieved, and had the body buried in the same place and the tomb sealed up tightly. A few days later, the prince told his attendant, that man is no ordinary man. He must be a virtuous man, and sent a servant to take a look. When the servant returned, he said, "When we opened the coffin, there was neither a corpse nor bones. Only the clothes were folded and placed on top of the coffin." The prince had the clothes taken back and wore them as usual. The people were very surprised, and said, "It is true that the saints know the saints," and they revered the prince even more. Later, a belief arose that this starving man was Bodhidharma, and Daruma Temple was built in Oji Town, Kitakatsuragi County, on the site of the starving man's grave. The above anecdote is reminiscent of the disappearance of Jesus' body in the New Testament and the Zhenren chapter in the 6th volume of the Great Master chapter of the Zhuangzi. At the beginning of its inscription, Daqin Jingjiao popular Chinese monument, Nestorian stele, which was discovered in Xi'an in the 17th century by the Society of Jesus, Jesuits, says, "Lo, the unchangeably true and invisible, who existed through all eternity without origin. The far-seeing perfect intelligence, whose mysterious existence is everlasting. Operating on primordial substance he created the universe, being more excellent than all holy intelligences, inasmuch as he is the source of all that is honorable. This is our eternal true Lord Allah, 3-1 mysterious substance. He appointed the cross as the means for determining the 4 cardinal points. He moved the original spirit, and produced the 2 principles of nature, and describes the Western Christian Church's doctrine of the Trinity, is expressed as 3-1 mysterious substance. Baptism with the Holy Spirit, of Thomas, who is said to have been the twin brother of Jesus, seems to have been fused with Mahayana Buddhism and Taoism after he had brought it to India and China, where these tide of thought were emerging at that time, and to have contributed to the birth of Islam as well as flourishing of Pure Land Buddhism and Zen culture. The statue of Maitreya Bodhisattva sitting contemplatively in the half-lotus position in Koryuji Temple makes a circle with the thumb, middle finger and ring finger of its right hand, stands the index finger and the little finger. The shape of the hand seems to represent Prince Shotoku, Jesus and Muhammad's wishes to achieve the circular-like best way with nothing lacking and nothing in excess. Around the time Prince Shotoku galloped through the village of Yikaruga on his beloved horse Kurokoma and finally ascended to heaven in the land of Tenjukoku, Muhammad also rode the winged horse Barak from the holy mosque in Mecca to the mosque in Jerusalem, from where he ascended to heaven.